So we're here to talk about what Birmingham is to us in our own lens.
Yeah.
Now, the This Is My City programme is made up into components of food, culture, art, music and sport.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to test your knowledge on everything today with a Birmingham focus.
Okay.
And I want you to let me know what Birmingham is to you.
Okay.
Yeah? So,
I'm not good at sport though, you know that, innit? I'm my belly. I'm not good at sport.
Right, but we all know sport exists.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a bit about that further on in the show.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with something that's close to everyone's heart and has got a universal language: food.
Of course.
How hungry are you from a scale of 1 to 10?
Look at the size of me. What do you think?
Stop it. From a scale of 1 to 10, how hungry are you,
You
by
was
the
about
way?
to say from a size of 1 to 10.
No, I didn't. That's what I said. That's what I said.
He was about to say that.
I didn't mean to say that.
It's all right.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say that.
Go on, a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay, are we hungry? Are you
Yes.
hungry?
Yeah, 10.
I'm hoping
Good.
that the mic's not going to pick up on my rumbling belly.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. Okay, so before we go into food, I want you guys to give me a snapshot of who you are. Obviously, our listeners, our viewers may know you, may not know you. So we'll start off with you, Roy, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I've personally read your story, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
But you give us a snapshot of why you're a TikTok phenomenon and a bit about your past.
So, I'm a TikTok what's the word? Phenomenon.
Superstar.
Superstar. That's what they say. Superstar. TikTok superstar. You know, from making funny videos. I started on Snapchat 4 years ago, making videos, and I posted them on Instagram, and they would get shared a lot. But then it wasn't really until TikTok came along when everything started to really like go wild for me. And in the last year, I've tripled my following on Instagram. Now nearly 100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and TikTok I started with 0 followers, and I'm nearly at 400,000.
Wow.
Now, yeah, my videos get millions of views, and I get shared a lot. And
So are you what they call an influencer?
I hate that word, but yeah,
Is that what it is?
That's what they would call me, an influencer, but I'll just call myself.
So you're not going to fight with Mayweather like all these other influencers do at the moment?
No, I'm just here for like the free food that they offer me, and the free cakes, and like, can I send you some cakes and things like that? Yeah, but that's how it all started, really. Yeah.
So
TikTok.
Tell us a bit about your past. I mean, there's some stuff online about you.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, I think it's really interesting that you know you've gone through whatever you've gone through, and you are where you are today.
Yes. So as a obviously growing up in Birmingham, grew up in Birmingham with my parents till I was about 11, 12. Went into care, so I was in care for like from 12 to 16. I was in local authority care in Birmingham, lived in foster homes, lived in children's homes, passed around, place to place. I went into a hostel when I was 16, and I'd been in and out of hostels until I was about 18. And then I got my own house like, through being a care leaver, that's what they would call me. I've dealt with drug addiction, been addicted to drugs twice, been addicted to cocaine, and kicked it both times. And
Well done.
thank you. And alcohol. So I've had my issues, but I think being online, being able to talk, and especially making people laugh and things like that has helped me. And if ever I get like feeling like I want to go and do something bad or something to harm myself, I just think like how much I have to lose if I go back down certain avenues, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going up, I'm moving up in the right direction.
Well, all your followers are following you because they like you, and they're following you because you're giving them something that they don't have.
Yeah.
And you're making them laugh.
Yeah.
So who makes you laugh?
Me, I make myself laugh. Some of the things I come out with, I think you can't say that. Alan Carr is one of my favourite comedians.
Okay.
Yeah, I watch a lot of his stuff. If I feel low, I watch Alan Carr. Yeah.
You know, I love the guy, and I forgot his name now. He was on Britain's Got Talent. He's got cerebral palsy. You know, the young boy that nearly won it one year, but he was a comedian.
Was that about 2-3 seasons?
Yeah,
I don't watch it a lot. But
I don't watch it. Yeah, I don't
yeah.
watch BGC. Yeah, I don't watch it.
Yeah, and he came out and they threw egg and flour on Simon Cowell.
Ah.
And then he says that was my opening act. Someone stole it for me. That was.
I would have loved to have seen that.
He worked off his toes because you good comedians. You've got to work fast, haven't you, and be witty.
Yeah, witty. Yeah, that's it. Witty.
Witty. So thanks. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to let you off the hook that easily.
Oh yeah, I tried it.
So over to you, Natalie. How about a snapshot about you?
Natalie Graham, and I am a presenter on BBC Radio WM and BBC across the Midlands. I also look after and manage my mum, who is sort of international Birmingham, born and bred soul sensation Jackie Graham, who was sort of a game changer for a lot of black British female solo artists from back in the 80s. So she sort of opened a lot of the doors for people like your, sort of, you know, your Jamelias and those kind of people that followed. And yeah, I've sort of grown up literally in the music industry. So kind of music's born and bred. That's my passion.
Yeah.
The one industry that she never wanted me to get involved with was the music industry. She's like, no, go and get yourself a full-time job, and you don't want to be like me. You want to know where your money's coming from each month and everything. I've done stuff from IT recruitment, got into property from a young age off the back of things that I managed to achieve with that. But the music was always the draw, and I just sort of got to a point where I'm like, Mum, I can't keep on doing what I'm doing just to keep you happy when it's not making me happy. If it's a case of just sort of not knowing where my money's going to come from and having to hustle in life, I said I'd rather be happy doing that and maybe struggling or whatever kind of, whatever doors that kind of opens up. But at least I'm going to be happy doing it. And plus as well, there's a lot of sharks within the industry. So there's so many things that have happened within her career. She's had sort of a bit of a tough life growing up. And it was just to be able to get involved with my mom, knowing that there's no hidden agenda. Everything that I'm doing is because I love my mom, and I just want to see the best for her, and not be there to take advantage, but still be able to get my percentage at the end of the day as well. So just keeping it real.
I get that back.
And then to sort of get into the radio side of things was purely by mistake. It was just a sort of a pleasant accident. I've executive produced for my mom as well, so I've executive produced the last couple of albums, put them all together. So I don't just sort of manage, I do a few other things within that field. And then just had her on a promotional tour, and off the back of some of the stations that she was at, it was actually down in London, one of the guys was just like, he said, have you ever thought about doing radio? He said, you've got a great voice. And I was just like, you're trying to say...
You do have a great radio voice.
Thanks very much. I said, I've got a face for radio. So off the back of that, then started with them, and it was a sort of a soul station. And after my first show, he said, you're not going to be here for very long, and one of the big players is going to snap you up. And then the next thing I know, a lovely gentleman by the name of Ed Adu, who's got a good few shows on, I think it's BBC Three Counties, was just like, right, you need to get in touch with, let me give you the details of the person who heads the whole of BBC Birmingham. Made contact. My mum's done, we've always been involved with them when it comes to charity things and children in need and so on and so forth. So we had a good relationship anyway. But I don't think they were expecting the angle of me going and saying, right, I was interested in doing a show with Mom. Because I'm just like, well, I'm just management. I just sort of sit in the background, and do you know what I mean? I prefer to just be not seen. And yeah, we did a show together. They said, how about coming in and covering the Soul and Motown show, the pair of you?
Wow.
And then off the back of that, they said, right, how about coming in and doing a New Year's Day special for us? It's like, okay. And then they called me back and said, we want you without your mom.
Hang on a second, was that on New Year's Day or pre-record?
That was a pre-record.
I was going to say.
It was a pre-record.
Okay.
Just let me walk before I start running. And off the back of that, they called me in and said, listen, we love Jackie, but we're very interested in you and seeing what can develop. And then 2.5 years later, I'm still there, and I've gone from sort of 1 show a week up to 5 nights a week now with the BBC.
Wow.
So,
but you have got a great radio voice, and when I introduced this show, I was practicing it in the car, practicing it at home, thinking, I'm introducing a show, to a radio presenter.
You are silly.
You know, and I even did like, the in the mirror thing. Right. How does it sound? It wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. Okay, great. Thanks for that snapshot, guys. So we'll get a bit of chance to go into a bit more detail about what you guys do. So we're gonna go into food.
Okay.
Yeah. So personally, I've just scratched my mic, so you might get a scratch on the mic. Personally, I grew up around food.
Yeah.
So I'm Greek. I grew up in the chip shop trade.
Can you cook?
I can cook.
Are you a good cook?
I'm a good cook, right? So I grew up in Handsworth. So my father had the Acropolis Fish Bar, which was quite famous actually.
Where was that?
And on Holyhead Road.
Oh, Holyhead Road, yeah.
Holyhead Road, yeah. So I grew up there basically, and yes, I've always grew up around food. But I know that Birmingham, it's just so diverse. You can get a dish from everywhere. You know. Obviously, we've all got our own individual taste buds. Yeah. But you can go for Persian, you can go for a Baltic triangle, you can go to a chip shop, you can find Greek food, you can find anything. So I personally think that's a good thing about Birmingham. So I'm going to ask you guys a couple of food questions. Okay. Right? And then you're going to talk to me about what you think, and then we're going to do like a bit of a score rating on a couple of things. Right. Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to start off with you, Natalie, right? So I want you to tell me, right, what your take is on the food culture of Birmingham and a bit about your upbringing through a dish. Right, okay, that's a good question. Well, like you said, the diversity that's available within Birmingham is brilliant. I mean, you just mentioned some of them, and then you can get sort of Lebanese. One thing that you missed out was obviously the Caribbean food that's available as well, which is, sort of part of my staple diet in terms of growing up. I mean, my heritage is my mom's family's from Jamaica, my dad's Irish, and I suppose to a certain extent my dad was almost wooed by the food that my mom's grandmother used to cook, because he was used to, literally, he would say he was used to sort of, pink sausages in boiled water and cabbage, and potatoes was just something that was, sometimes a luxury, or they'd come in from playing and it was jam sandwiches. And then he met my mom because they went to school together. So they've been together since they were sort of 13 and 14. My mom was never allowed out, and then he'd sort of go over and see my mom. And then the first time he saw seasoning being put on a chicken and everything, he's sort of sitting there saying to mom, he's like, what's that? What's she doing? What's she doing to the chicken? He's like, oh no, I'm not tasting that. It's just like, and even seeing them wash the chicken and this, he hadn't seen any of that in his household growing up. He's like 14 or 15 kids. So yeah, he's once he tasted one of the patties, he was hooked. So at home, it's very sort of seasoned, flavoursome food. My mum will sit there and say, I can't cook like my granny, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, my mum's a good cook. And I've sort of watched growing up in the kitchen as well. So the sort of, I say Caribbean food, we've got a good menu in our household, although I think I do probably a little bit more of the cooking nowadays than my mum. But again, in Birmingham, you can get anything. Like you said, if you're sort of sitting there and you're thinking, I just fancy some chicken and chips, you can go and get that. I mean, and especially as you go into the centre, because I love Japanese food as well. So teppanyaki.
Yes. When
the samurai sword comes out, and start chopping it up in front of you.
I've never seen that.
If you haven't been to one of the teppanyakis in Birmingham, they are brilliant.
Just don't do, can I try this? Because the thing's a hot plate. You're going to burn your hand off.
You'll be in trouble. But yeah, they do all the tricks and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, from sort of Japanese, your Chinese food, just there's so much that's available. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about Birmingham is the cultural backgrounds and the multitude of ethnicities that have gravitated to this city and sort of put their own little imprints.
I love that.
On it.
You mentioned patties. I love patties. And I remember when I used to work in the chip shop, there used to be this Caribbean chap who used to come in, and his afro was that big. He used to go underneath like that. And I used to ask my dad, why is his hair so big? And my dad used to say, because he eats all the patties. Right? And I thought that if you eat patties, your hair grows. I had just thought that. I just thought that's the case. No. So, and then one day, I'm going off on a tangent. I tried to grow my hair long because I wanted to look like a Mediterranean slick, with a ponytail. But it went out instead of going down, so I stopped eating patties because I thought it's because of the patties. So there's my Caribbean story for you. So I'm not a comedian, by the way. You're a comedian.
No, you're a good one. No, you're
I'm not a comedian. So Raurie, let's hear your take on food. And you know, have you got any funny stories about food that you've either shared with your TikTok guys or tell me about your taste buds to start with. Let's get your belly rumbling.
My taste buds. Okay, so I mean, like you were saying, diversity here in Birmingham. There's so much to choose from when you want food. You can literally be anywhere. And there's food shops everywhere, isn't there? All over Birmingham. It doesn't matter where you are. You're not far from a food shop. Caribbean, Chinese, Asian, Japanese. I didn't even know about Japanese. Greek, that's a new dish that I've been introduced to. Because I didn't even know that I could get Greek food here. So I will eat anything, you know. Absolutely anything.
Human?
Well, I eat a human. No, I eat a human. But I'll eat anything. But I mean, McDonald's is a big thing that I'll go on about a lot on TikTok. And I was just literally stuffing my face in McDonald's every day.
That's not a great thing, though.
No, it's not a good thing, no. Now I'm trying to eat less McDonald's and eat more cooked food, you know? Yeah, eat more home-cooked food. Growing up, you know, I'm half Irish, I'm half Jamaican as well. So my dad's Jamaican, my mum's Irish. So I had best of both. Sometimes things would be really basic, you know, we'd have chicken and mash, roast potatoes with gravy, and then sometimes we'd have curry mutton and rice and peas, or we'd have brown stew chicken, or we'd have curry chicken. Like, there was just so much variety to choose from. But as a young child, I didn't really like spice and flavour and things like that. I used to lean more towards the chicken and the gravy with the mashed potato.
Okay.
And being in care, you know, the food was very basic. You know, it wasn't the best. It was just frozen food that they just put and give you, and that would be it. So when I got older and when I was able to take responsibility for my own cooking, things like that, I wanted to learn more about making food, and then I leaned more back towards, you know, West Indian foods. So now I'm a great cook. I cook West Indian food amazingly, and that tends to be now what I eat a lot now, yeah. So I can make all them kind of things.
Wear your apron and everything? Do you get into the mood?
Yeah, proper. Put the tunes on, yeah. Put the music on, put my apron on, you know.
Are you one of these guys that you know? They always say kitchen should be in a triangle formation. So you've got your hob, you've got your sink.
I'm all over the place.
And you know, you're one of these people.
I have no organisation at all. No, I'm terrible.
You don't dance from one station to another just to get into the mood.
My kitchen's a mess. If I cook, someone crash the plane into it, mate. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about a couple of things in the city. And we're gonna score rate them, right?
Okay.
So Birmingham is known for the Baltic Triangle.
Of course.
Okay. So, have you been to the Baltic Triangle? Have you been to the Baltic Triangle?
Oh, never been.
No. How can you rate something you haven't been to?
Can we go after? Let's go after.
What do you know about the Baltic Triangle?
Sell it to me.
Sell it to her.
It's iconic. That's the only way I can explain it. It's iconic. Anything you want, everything you want. Obviously, it's not just one restaurant. It's a collection of restaurants.
It's a triangle
of
restaurants.
A triangle.
There's a lot of competition there then.
Yeah, but...
You got your favourites?
My personal favourite, Tipu Sultan. That's where I like to go.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know, you've been to Tipu Sultan?
No.
Mosley.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know where it is, but I've not been.
My favourite, my personal favourite. That's because of the interior and the decor and the table service. But then there's other places. Think of a place. Can you think of it?
Well, there's. I can't think of a place, but in that triangle, there's also a couple of places that aren't too healthy, like Karachi fried chicken and places like that. Yeah. Within that triangle. Yeah. But I've been to that triangle and.
Where is this triangle?
It's in Ladypool Road.
Yeah.
Right.
In Spark Hill.
Right. Okay.
Okay, and it's basically.
But there's Mosley Road as well.
Proper authentic Asian restaurants. You know, from your Pakistani to Bangladeshi to, and a lot of people come to visit that triangle because they know it's authentic. I mean, I did go there once, and the one guy says to me, was all, only Asian people in there.
Yeah.
And he says, you know, this is a very spicy restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're not Asian.
Akrams as well.
Akrams.
Yeah. Akrams is another one as well, yeah.
You know, I'm making a mental
Akrams
note
is
of all
really...
of these.
Yeah.
You've got to go. You've got to go.
Because am I right in saying that the Balti, to a certain extent, was almost born
It's a British
in
dish.
Birmingham?
It is a British dish.
Yeah.
It is the evolution of Commonwealth migration, definitely. So the Bangla community, the Bangladeshi community really set up that food chain. There's a good friend of mine actually that's done Bangla Food Journeys, a heritage project.
Right.
And he's done that. He's looked at how Birmingham and Balti was created and so forth. But yeah, Balti was created and it's more of a British dish.
That's what it's similar to Curry Mole in Manchester.
Right, okay.
Have you been to Curry Mole in Manchester? That's all. No, that's.
I do like curries as well, by the way.
It's called Curry Mole. It's called Curry Mole on your sat nav. If you go there, it's called Curry Mole. That's what Balti Triangle is.
Right.
That's Birmingham's version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot of friends who sort of Indian heritage and sort of Sikhs, Hindu Punjabs, everything. They're like, Natalie, they said, if you go to India, you don't go somewhere and order chicken tikka masala. They're like, that's English.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's interesting to know that I've not sort of been
evolution. So because Natalie hasn't been to the Balti Triangle, I want you to rate it out of 10.
You want me to rate it out of 10? I mean, to be fair, I've ordered from there a few times. I found hair in my food, and that's so. I'm not
oh dear!
I'm not going to be very generous with my rating. I'm going to give it a 6.
Okay, all right. We'll give it a 6.
Still generous.
It's still generous, but there have been times when I haven't been satisfied.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So obviously we talked a bit before about healthier options.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine.
Go on.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. Go on.
So we talked a bit before about healthier options.
Yeah.
And cooking at home. Now, let's rate the city on availability of healthier options.
Okay.
It's getting better.
Is it?
They're trying to get better. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion? And then we'll go into the rating.
My opinion?
Yeah.
I don't think there's many options here, personally. The only two that I know, Falafel Munch and Vegan Munch.
Okay.
In Selly Oak.
But what about your Nando's and your Perifinos?
Oh, I don't think they're the healthiest.
Grilled chicken?
It is grilled chicken, yeah, I suppose. But then the rice and that is quite
we can get fried rice and then the chips. So they still have that unhealthy option.
Yeah.
So for you, the rating's low, perhaps.
I would say there's not a lot of choice, but then I don't really think there's a lot of demand either for people wanting to eat healthy. Yeah, I think people want to eat when they eat out. They want to eat bad food. Yeah.
I think a few years ago I would have agreed with that, but I think now the mentality is changing.
Do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think a lot more people are becoming kind of, I say more health conscious, but I think more aware of what they're putting in their bodies. I don't know if over the last year is something that's made people sort of assess it a little bit more.
They might be right, yeah.
But if anything, I think there's probably a lot more that's available to order online. I mean, even if it's a case of you want to make your own pizzas at home and everything, you've got all these different businesses that have set up that give you those kind of healthy options or vegan, vegetarian options. I mean, I'm not vegetarian or vegan or anything. I just love food. But I think if it depends. I think it depends on you as an individual. If there's something that you want and you don't want to go for the stodge and the chips and the chippy and everything, I think if you look for it, then there are places that you can find.
Yeah. There are, but the healthy option is not always appealing.
No.
It's not always the most appealing.
But then that's what I mean. Is that more so a matter of choice and having to cater our own palates, because we're just so used to your McDonald's or your KFC and just that kind of that quick fix, that sort of, if you're on the move, you're on the go, you're thinking, right, okay, I haven't eaten, what can I pick up? I know, let me just go through the drive-through, get something. It's just that pace of life that we've been used to over the last few years is kind of, we're catering our bellies to that pace of life, whereas I think, again, the last year, because everything just came to a standstill, then people are just like, right, okay, well, you know, the drive-thru's not open, so now I'm going to get, you know, some of the boxes of fresh meals that you can get delivered now that are sent to your home. That's something that I've been doing with my family for the last, probably since January. And I just thought, you know what, every time I go to the supermarket, I think I'm going in for some bread and milk, that's it. And I come out and I've spent like 40, 50 pounds.
All the time.
Because
I made a video about it the other day.
it's ridiculous.
I literally just went in for like bread, and I came out with like 2 packets of Kit Kats and fruit pastels and cream cakes. And I wonder why. And then I eat them all. I literally sit there and eat them all, and then I complain that
But
I'm
how much
fat.
do you spend as well? Just
I
stop.
sit there screaming at myself, saying I'm fat, moaning, having a breakdown, whilst lying in wrappers of Kit Kat and fruit pastel and
The chocolate coma.
Oh dear.
So you've got there. I think there are things available, but like I said, that's just like a discipline. If you're going to be in your life a lot longer, then don't worry. Then we'll fix up your palate,
please.
get you eating healthy.
So, I want you guys, before I give you a bit of a quiz, to tell me your top 3 food places in Birmingham. Over to you, Natalie.
Mine would have to be one of the teppanyakis.
Okay.
Purely because I'd say any teppanyaki, just because I love Japanese food.
Okay.
I am partial to the occasional Nando's.
Oh wow.
Which is quite handy as well, because it happens to be based right opposite my my building when I come out of work after either going in before shift. I'm like, should I just get a nice little chicken and a
you work
pizza?
at Mailbox, don't you? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
And what else? See, I would probably go for somewhere like if you're going for like a nice restaurant and a meal out in Birmingham, and just because it's got the nice ambience and able to overlook the city, is somewhere like a Marco Pierre White's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just being sort of slightly bougie. But that's just, like I said, that's probably because it's something that I've missed as well for the last, being able to go out for a nice...
Have you been to the Brazilian restaurant underneath?
Yes, I have. That's,
The one
do you
that
know what?
they've got like a traffic light system.
Again, that's
what's it called?
meats
Begins with an
galore,
R.
but it's,
Begins with an R. Yeah, that place is.
Don't eat before you go there.
Rizzo's.
Something
Rico
like that.
Resido or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they come and they just give you one meat after the other, one meat after the other, and then you just have to put the red light or the green light.
It's giving me so much inspiration for when I walk out of here today. Where am I going to go? Where am I going?
Okay, so what about your top 3 places?
My top 3. Okay, so fish and chips, Gabriel's in Harborne, definitely.
A friend of mine owns that.
Oh, really? Yeah, Gabriel's, 100%. It's always on point. Castle Hill, which is in like Shenny Lane, that's Chinese food. And my dad's kitchen, because my dad's always got a pot on the go, like.
Okay.
Yeah, they're my 3 top places, yeah.
When you say your dad's kitchen, has he got a place or is it your dad's house you're on about?
No, it's his house, yeah.
Oh,
his
okay,
house,
all right,
his
I get
kitchen.
that. Right, now, listen, so This Is My City is a Commonwealth programme. So I'm going to give you a Commonwealth country, and you're going to tell me a dish or a food that's from that country.
Okay.
Okay.
Or you're going to try.
No pressure.
Right?
Oh,
Now,
Lord.
Yeah,
some of these
I
things
don't even know what
you might not even know that they're from this country, and you eat them on a daily basis.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with one, obviously, that's close to me.
Yeah.
Cyprus. Well, hang on, before we start, you've got to do like a fake buzz. It's like a competition here, yeah? You go buzz, like
Right.
that, and then I select who's going to go.
So we're going to name the food?
You get, but you've got to, cause when it comes to your head, it's like, you're on like catchphrase or something, you press the buzzer.
Yeah.
Okay, press the buzzer and tell me.
So you've already said Cyprus?
Cyprus. Go. Buzzer.
Buzz. Right, okay. I'm going to say falafel.
That was going to be mine.
About yourself.
Olives.
Halloumi.
Oh, squeaky cheese. It's one of my
Halloumi is from
favourites.
Cyprus.
Halloumi's from
They've
Cyprus.
just got the EU go ahead that anything that says halloumi on it has to come straight from Cyprus.
Shame on me.
Right then, now this one's going to be quick. I'm gonna just give you a warm up. I'm gonna say the word, but you have to be quick on the buzz.
Okay.
Jamaica.
Eh.
I'll give it to you only because she was before you.
Yeah.
But because you haven't had turn.
Curried mutton.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Curry chicken.
Oh,
Okay. What can you shop that's from Jamaica in a shop? Is there anything out there that you can buy?
Plantain.
Hard dough bread.
Okay.
Bun.
Oh, I was going to say.
Is this Timmy Mallet? Timmy Mallet is it? Timmy Mallet.
Softly Jen.
Ackee and saltfish.
Okay, listen, it's not on my list, right?
Yeah.
You have to. We're gonna do Caribbean food because you guys know it well, right? You're gonna say one thing, then you're gonna say another. Remember Timmy Mallet?
Yes,
remember
Mallet's
Timmy
Mallet.
Mallet?
No, he's no.
Right, Timmy Mallet, basically, you have to say something, and the other person has to say something that's related to that thing, but can't say the same thing.
Right, okay.
And then you have to bounce back with something else. So
Okay.
we're going to be Caribbean food,
Okay.
right? Until someone loses.
Okay.
Are you ready? Take a deep
You
breath.
know when we would do this before you said this was like Mallet's Mallet, there was no pressure. Now,
Now the pressure.
my brain's
trying
just
to think all
gone
the seasoning
empty.
into my cupboard.
Okay, right. I'm going to
Right.
count to 3,
Okay.
and you can start.
Oh, okay.
You're not allowed to repeat
Why is it
something.
always on me?
Okay, you ready? Take some water. Right, 1, 2, 3, go.
Browning,
Patty,
chicken,
rice and peas,
stew,
banana.
pumpkin,
Can I say Guinness Punch?
Yeah,
bottle.
bottle.
You have to put a Guinness punch in a bottle. Come on, keep it going.
I was about
lost
to
me.
say
You lost
red pea soup,
Red pea soup.
Lentils,
ackee and saltfish,
island.
Dunn's River Fall.
Oh,
Now we've gone to Jamaica.
Okay, all right. Anyway, listen, you're both equally as good. Equally as good. Right, next country. Buzz system, yeah?
Okay.
But it's the first buzzer now. I'm not going to be like giving you
Okay.
because you haven't had a go. India.
Buzz.
Oh.
Naan.
No. Yep. Bangladesh.
Buzz. Curry.
They do loads of curries. Are you allowed to say
tikka.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ghana.
Buzz. Oh.
Oh, that was a close one. I'm going to take answers from both of you.
Okay.
Right. What's your answer?
I've completely forgotten now. But go on, take.
Jollof.
Jollof rice.
That's what I wanted.
Yes.
That was.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was
Rice. That's the only thing I know.
That's the only thing I know.
Controversial as well because in terms of the different parts of Africa, who does the best jollof?
That's exactly. We've got a girl that works for us. She's a PhD student. She's from Ghana.
Yeah.
And she said exactly that.
Yeah.
They have a competition between Nigeria, Ghana, and all the other countries.
Yeah.
Who's the best jollof rice? But I've tried it, and I like the rice. It's
I just
lovely.
love jollof rice. But
Nice.
yeah, I was
Lovely
my
rice.
Nigerian friends versus my Ghanaian friends, and yeah, there's a battle.
So we're going to hit the music scene now.
Okay.
Right now, so I'm going to kick off by saying I did say before that I grew up in a chip shop in Handsworth, but above my dad's shop, because we used to have. I don't know if you remember, there used to be a night here called Money Pennies,
Yes.
and the Michael Ryan brothers. They used to work for us. We were very good family friends.
Right.
But they used to run gigs above our shop,
Okay.
music gigs. I'm not sure if your mum performed, but a lot of people from Handsworth and musicians performed above our shop. So I grew up
Right,
around
okay.
music. So
Yeah.
I met UB40 before there were anything, you know, and others. And then I forgot his name now, Pat's the Dutchie on the left-hand side.
Yep.
You know, and all them guys, they performed above our shop. So I used to sneak in because they used to have doormen and everything, but I was that small. I used to sneak through their legs, go upstairs and listen to the music. So we're going to talk a bit about Birmingham and the music scene and, you know, what's come out of Birmingham, what's new in Birmingham. So I'm going to hand over to you to start with.
Okay.
So I want you to tell us a bit about your take about Birmingham in terms of the music scene. I'm trying to read off my notes, by the way, but I'm on sport, not even reading the music bit. And what talent you think's out there, and obviously your mum's a Birmingham born and raised talent. So over to you anyway.
I mean, there is so much talent that stemmed from the Midlands. It's incredible, and Birmingham in particular. I think my mum's been gigging. My dad sent off for her first ever audition when she was 17, and she got signed, I think, back in 1983. So I mean, I was 2.
Wow.
But when she started to have her successes and her hits and everything, sort of 85-ish. everyone instantly would turn around and say, Jackie, you've got to move to London. You've got to move to London. That's where it's all happening. That's, you know, if anything's going to happen for you, you've got to be down there. And she was just like, well, why? What's the point in that? She said, you know, here, when I've got gigs, I'm smack bang in the middle of the country. I can just get to anywhere. If you've got a gig in Newcastle, Manchester, wherever it is, it's just the positioning. It was a lot better. But everyone was just very sort of London centric. Whereas you had, like you said, your UB40s, you had Duran Duran up at the what used to be the Rum Runner and everything. You've got the likes of your ELOs and your Bev Bevans. You've got your Ozzy Osbournes. I mean, I'm going back. This is like way back, even before my time. Steve Winwood is from Handsworth. So I don't know if you've heard of Steve Winwood, but Steve Winwood is, if you know the tune High Love that Kygo did with
how does it go?
With the Whitney Houston track. So the original was by a guy called Steve Winwood.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, they did it justice, but for me, you can't beat someone like Steve Winwood. And again, like I said, Handsworth, born and bred.
Yeah.
And he's someone that's gone, you know, all these artists, the majority of them have sort of gone sky high, and you sort of sit there when people ask the question, like, where they're from. Most people would probably think, oh, they're from London.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're from Birmingham. You mentioned Musical Youth. You know, you've got your. There's so many great artists. You've got. I mentioned earlier on people like Jamelia. The sort of your Lady Sanities of artists today. And one of the things that I get to do on my shows on Monday on the BBC, we sort of feature an introducing song of the day, which is usually from someone that's homegrown talent from in and around Birmingham and the West Midlands. And there is so many incredible artists out there, and I always say that I'm like a broken record. It's my favourite part of any of my shows, because having grown up in the music industry and just knowing how difficult it can be and sort of cutthroat, and now you've got an opportunity as well. You don't necessarily have to have a major label behind you, because you've got social media platforms and everything, that if you can get the right kind of audience, you can build a following and a fan base from that alone. And there's just such a wealth of incredible artists that come from Birmingham, and that's something that makes me, I say every week, it's something that makes me very, very proud to know that there's an opportunity now for more and more people to get discovered and put themselves on the map and fly the flag for Birmingham. And my mum performs, she's had #1s in US Billboard charts, all sorts, you know, your South Africas, your Japans, Australias. And one of the things that she sort of stresses on, because people always thought that she was American when she was coming up, because sort of their music was a little bit ahead of its time, and because she could actually sing as well, that was the other thing. And people always thought that she was from Birmingham, Alabama, and she used to have to stress, she's like, no, I'm not from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm from Birmingham, UK. So that's something that she still says to this day. You know, I'm proud to be a Brummie. So yeah, I just think that the music scene here is great, and it's exciting as well to know that there's that much more talent that we're still yet to discover. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Raurie, and we spoke before we started, and you've got a tattoo about music on your arm. So let's kick off with that.
Yeah.
To start with.
Music makes my world go round. So I was raised with music. My dad is a musician. My dad was in a band with Pat O'Banton before Pat O went on to have his success. Crucial Music, the band was called. And my dad is good friends with Andy Wickett, who's worked a lot with Duran Duran, wrote a lot of their big hits. So, and my dad makes his own music as well. He likes to sing, he makes beats, produces. So I grew up with it, and when I was young, 15, 16, grime was a big thing at school. Grime music was a really big thing, and garage. Everybody wanted to be a rapper. Everybody wanted to know how to write bars. And I think back at that time, there was a lot of opportunity for young people to express their creativity. I used to go to 641. It was a council-run studio. It was funded by the council. You could get studio time there for £1, and you could go and record all of your songs at the studio. And I thought it was great. I still rap now, but obviously my focus is on obviously like the content. But
hang on a second, you still rap now?
Yeah, I still rap now.
So have you got your own material?
Yeah, I've got things out there.
Why don't you share something with us?
It's explicit, I can't.
Is it like copyright?
No, it's just...
Oh, it's explicit.
Yeah, it's explicit,
sorry.
Yeah,
no, let's not go there.
It's a family show.
Not go there.
It's a family show. I'm trying to be a conservative, moderate, is that the word? But yeah, I mean, so much great talent has come out of Birmingham in the last 10 years as well. JK, Lady Leisha, look at all the success that she's had. Stefflon Don is from Birmingham, which I didn't know.
That.
I
Why
didn't
did I think
know.
she was Dutch, or she
I
got
thought she was
some
Dutch.
Dutch connections?
She did live in Dutch, in
Holland?
Amsterdam, Holland,
Okay,
yeah. In Dutch.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. And I think now, especially, there's so much, you know, the landscape of music is changing. We're going from grime to drill. Now there's a lot of drill music out there, which is what most of the young kids are listening to now, you know, drill music. I think the UK's just had its first ever #1 drill song in the charts, so it's a big thing. And
You know, is that sort of that your main genre that you listen to?
I make drill music, but I have grime influences in my music.
Okay.
Because that was what was around when I was growing up, and I think that's what shaped me as an artist as well. So when I write my raps now, I write them with a grime flow, but to drill beats.
Okay.
Yeah, so I work with drill beats now.
You were talking about grime, and I'm just really intrigued that you said you're an artist, so it's something that you feel very passionate about.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
So in comparison to your TikTok show or your TikTok platform, where you're like a comedian more or less.
Yeah.
If you was to get a choice, comedian or artist, where would you go?
Artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you use your Sorry, I know.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that. No, please help
Stop
me.
asking questions,
You write
Natalie.
music.
I'm just, Do you use the platform for both?
No, I keep it for comedy really, because that's why everybody follows me. I think if I start trying to be a musician on a comedy page, I'll lose a lot of followers.
Okay.
That follow me for comedy, because that's what they follow me for. They don't follow me for music. So I'm still working out how that works going forward, because I would like to do both, but I would like to pursue them as separate entities.
Can you not set up another one then and
Which
have it so, and then you'll have like
your
followers from the comedy page that if they're into that kind of music,
that will go and follow
naturally
me.
kind of gravitate to
that's
that anyway.
exactly what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's just working out logistics, working out how I'm gonna promote it and how I'm gonna put it out there. But going back to Birmingham and the music scene here, you know, there's so much talent here but I don't feel like enough focus is put on the talent that's in Birmingham. I feel like the focus is still on London. When I listen to the late night shows, you know, like Tiffany Carver, the BBC One Extra shows, a lot of the music is from London. And I think, well, being in Birmingham, I hear amazing music from the places that I go to, the studio, into the rehearsal rooms. You know, that I feel like we need to find a way to shine the light more on young creatives that are up and coming in Birmingham.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Can I ask what music you like?
So I like all sorts of music, you know. So obviously I like Greek music. You know, and we're not talking Zorba the Greek here. You know, with smashing the plates, you know, and things like that. Which when people think ding ding.
Would I stereotype
you know,
like
so
that?
we're not talking like that. So I like European music. So I play flamenco guitar.
You play?
Yeah. I play
Okay.
flamenco guitar and things like that. So I like the Spanish scene as well. So because I've grown up in like a very Mediterranean atmosphere, naturally my taste buds, like you said before, your dad was a musician. It comes naturally to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So either your taste buds or your likes, it comes from your upbringing, really.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I remember being at school and listening to garage, and I remember working in Ayia Napa, which is in Cyprus, which no one understands that it's in Cyprus. They think it's a country. Oh, I'm going to Ayia Napa. Where's that? It's in Ayia Napa. You know, so when I used to work there, the garage scene was massive.
Yeah, I've got
massive.
some fond memories.
Yeah, massive, just humongous. And I used to really like it, but I didn't like the atmosphere it used to create, because I used to be work on the door.
Right, okay.
You see, so when there used to be like really big DJs. I think I remember a DJ, Mickey Finn. Was it Mickey Finn? Can't remember. There's a couple of big.
Yeah, is he more on the drum and bass side?
There was a drum and bass DJ, Mickey Finn, and there was a
mine.
couple of other big DJs that came to the island, and I did their shows for them while I was working security for their shows. And my gosh, it was horrific.
Was it moody?
It was moody.
Yeah,
it was really bad. I mean, I don't want to change the tone of our talk, but it was bad, you know. And and unfortunately someone lost their life.
Wow.
You know, so.
See, that surprises me as well, especially on the sort of the drum and bass side of things. Because when I went to INAP, it was sort of, again, it was the garage and all that kind of stuff. But some of my best nights out have been at the Custard Factory when it was the drum and bass nights down in Digbeth, and you kind of got that gritty scene, and you know what I mean. It's just got that kind of drum and bass vibe, and they were all always, you can guarantee, like no trouble, because everybody's just in a
dance
zone.
And I like that, and I love that. I like the dancing scene, and I like the feel good. I mean, we talked about two feel good subjects: music and food.
Yeah.
You know, so food makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You know, when you're hungry and you think, oh, that dish was nice. But
and it makes you start dancing.
So hungry.
It just makes you start dancing. You have something. That's me. If I eat something and I like it, I'm just like, there's got to do the food dance.
But then, and then music as well. You know, music can make you feel good. But then both can also do the opposite if you think about it. If you get a hair in your plate and you're hungry, you know, you're not going to be happy. No. You know, or if you've had something and it's not gone well with your body, you know, and then the same with music, I guess. But I mean, people use music for different things. You can use it for training, you use it for relaxing, you use it for as an exit strategy. I think both music and food have got a universal language without doubt, you know. So
I think with music as well, I think going back to what you were saying, certain types of music do come with certain stereotypes, don't they? Definitely, and especially drill music is associated with gang violence and stabbings, things like that. And you know, back in the day, bassline music, you know, like Niche Sheffield, and he used to come and do the night here. You know, people off their heads on drugs, like rocking and jaws swinging and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And people ended up in ambulances and just And then I suppose if you did it on the other scale, you'd say, you know, the opera, everyone dresses up smart for the opera. You know, it's really.
But it's a different clientele, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So different music definitely comes with.
So I've worked all across Birmingham in all sorts of clubs.
Did what I say make any sense?
Yeah.
You did, yeah. So I've worked, I mean, and I've seen different music scenes. So I used to work at Brannigan's. And that was like, you know, very cheesy type music, and it had a different type of person in there. I worked at Ipanema for years.
Okay.
And that was like a salsa caf.
Yeah.
A different vibe, happy, everyone doing these crazy moves, break dancing, all sorts of stuff. I worked the Rat and Parrot, which was dark.
I've got some memories now with some of these names.
I don't even remember any of these.
Wow.
And then when I was, and this
Andy's making me feel old when you come out with statements like that, but
Sorry.
So,
the Rat and Parrot, oh my gosh.
So, and plus, I mean, everyone that worked on the door there was black apart from me, you know what I mean? So it's almost like I had to come on par, but I was fine, you know. And then when I was 17, when I started working in that field, thank God I don't work like that. I don't work in them arenas anymore. The first door I worked on was in Wolverhampton. You said you live in Wolverhampton. It was called the Orange Club.
Okay, I don't know.
Right, and they said we're going to go and work at a blues night.
Right.
And I thought blues, and I thought, you know, like the blues.
Yeah.
No,
not that kind of blues.
I love that. I love the Jude.
BB King.
Blues,
No.
You know, last my woman. And I went to this blues thing. And I stood on the door there, and I thought, this ain't no blues night here. He said, where's the jazz player? Where's the, you know? I got really excited. I was 17. I was big for 17. And I was like all these guys from Handsworth that I knew that I grew up with, they could work the door with me. And then straight away, there was like a big tribe of people that came. There was 30, 40 of them. They just rushed the door.
Have you been to blues?
I just thought,
no, I mean, when you say like blues parties and everything, that just makes me think of the blues parties that my mum and dad tell me of, that their uncles, like my mum's uncles used to put on, and they had the big speakers in the houses in Handsworth, and then the music you'd hear it for almost miles, and you'd just have
blues when I was like 13.
Really?
Yeah, I went to a blues when I was 13 years old. Yeah.
See, I didn't even know that people are still
It was
kind of.
called Inner Circle. That's what it was called.
Okay.
And it was literally just in a room. It was just a room with a woman on a hatch, giving out bottled beer, which you pay for. So it'd be out the crate. So you'd have a hatch, like a little kitchen. You know, like one of them.
Yeah.
You'd have a hatch. The woman would stand there. You go for your beer, have like £3 for your bottled beer. It was warm because there's no fridge. It's not like, you know, a club. And then you just go through some doors, and it's just a warehouse with speakers in it, like a
big, that's how the Orange Club
about as big as in here,
yeah. So I don't think I'd go to another blues night again, because that was my experience.
No chairs.
No chairs.
Chairs? You don't need chairs at a blues party.
Just standing up and, everyone's
just to wrap up the music scene, I mean, Birmingham, there's parts of Birmingham now getting really trendy for me, what I've seen growing up in Birmingham, like Digbeth, you know, and all them areas. And I know the custard factory existed before. I've met the guy who actually brought the custard factory years and years ago, because it was just like derelict. And then he got different artists and creatives that came in and said, well, can I use this space for ballet? And then, or can I use this space for art? And then it started to
It's perfect for all of that as well, though,
and I love the quirkiness around it, and I just think that section of Birmingham, you know, it's growing, and it's giving a different vibe.
And you've got all your street food and everything down there as well that they do, and your graffiti and just the mixture of it all coming together. It's a brilliant space.
And I just think if someone comes to Birmingham to visit Birmingham, it's just a great place to take them. Just a great place to take them. So we're going to go on to sport.
Okay.
Right? Because you're smiling. Because
smiling because I don't know anything.
So basically, we know that the Commonwealth Games are coming to town. The Commonwealth is also going to have food and music involved as well. So the This Is My City programme was sort of built up on the back of that. But the programme that we've got is to celebrate Birmingham, whether the Commonwealth Games are here or not. Because for us, the Commonwealth's been here for 70, 80 years. It's not just now when the Commonwealth Games are coming, it'll be here after. And, you know, whether people admit it or not, you know, Birmingham's been built by Commonwealth success, by migrant success. So if it wasn't for the migrants that are coming from all the countries, you know, Birmingham wouldn't be what it is today. And a lot of people have been successful, you know, Asian counterparts, you know, like East End and people like that, and they've got all these great places, but someone from their family migrated here, you know, because of the Commonwealth. So Alexander Stadium's been built, and it's going to be an iconic facility, one of the best in the world. Edgbaston Stadium always existed, and is another iconic facility. Now, hopefully, we'll be out of the pandemic by the time the games come. And Birmingham becomes that tourist attraction, you know, for the Commonwealth Games. So, we'll start off with anyone who wants to jump in. What's your take on the Commonwealth Games and sport in Birmingham as a whole?
I mean, when it comes, I like sport and athletics anyway. So when you get the opportunity to sort of see things like this, and it's sort of televised, you know, to be able to go to the stadiums obviously would be an incredible experience. But I just love sports anyway. Just sort of growing up watching all of the different sports that are available. But you've got the football scene, you've got some of the big derbies that you can have here, whether it's your Villas and your Blues, and you know, you've got your West Brom and just some of the rivalries that you can get within that. But then you mentioned Edgbaston. I've grown up watching cricket with my dad. That's one of the things that I've always wanted to do is sort of take my dad to the Caribbean to go and watch a test series. And you've got, you know, like you said, Edgbaston for you, just all sorts of sports. And you've got some great people that have actually come from Birmingham, who have gone on to do some great things and represented not just, you know, the country, but again, they're flying the flag for our hometown.
What's your take, Raurie? Thank you.
Well, I'm not really into sport. Like I don't really follow sports, but obviously I know we have Aston Villa, we've got Blues, we've got you know, the Baggies, we've got the Alexander Stadium, we've got the cricket club. So we have a lot to offer in terms of sport, don't we? Which I think is great, and I do see a lot of sports being advertised and offered to young people for them to partake in. But overall, I think the Commonwealth Games is a great opportunity for Birmingham to put itself out there even more, you know, as a place to visit, not just for sports, but for food and for culture and for music and for arts and for shopping. I think it's a chance to refresh and revitalise, you know what I mean, the image of Birmingham. Yeah, and I think it's going to be
What would make you say you're not into sport?
What
would make you be into sport or be into activity? What could make it appealing for you? Are you saying it's not appealing
dangle food on top of the goalpost. I think a lot of my lack of interest in sport is out of laziness, you know, but I do go to the gym now.
Okay.
You probably can't tell yet. I haven't got my six-pack yet, but...
It's in there.
It's in there somewhere, yeah, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming, so I've been starting to go to the gym. I think as I become more active, I would like to take up sports, probably something like tennis. I don't know about football, because I don't understand football.
Yeah.
Things like I don't understand it. So I hear people say like offside and five-a-side and backside, and I'm thinking I don't know what any of it means. It's just like algebra symbols flying around in my head. Like I don't get it.
Okay.
I think
swimming is good as well.
Swimming's very good for you as well.
Swimming.
I think the other thing as well with something like the Commonwealth coming back to Birmingham is the inspiration that can actually give to the next generation that are coming through, because you've got you know, you've got youngsters, and whether it's through football and that, you know, you've got so many football academies that are available, and kids can get involved from sort of about 5 or 6 or 7 now. I mentioned earlier on before we started that my uncle used to play for Aston Villa, so he was with Villa when they won the European Cup in '82, and you know, he'd gone through a whole sort of training.
You've got a successful family. Yeah.
I remember what happened to me. But you've got, you know, you've got the academies on the football side of things to a certain extent as well. You've got academies when it comes to cricket. Some might say that cricket is not necessarily is probably a little bit more of a slightly expensive sport for kids to get involved with. But I think with
that's changing.
Same with golf as well. Because I mean, I like playing golf as well. So it's again, it's something there's a sort of a change, a cultural change slightly. But with the Commonwealth, because it incorporates so many, the Commonwealth Games, I should say, because it incorporates so many different sports. I think for school kids to be able to see these kind of stars and athletes coming to Birmingham and being able to see this on the television and think, wow. I mean, I remember, I can't remember how many years ago now it was, when all you had, Usain Bolts and everyone were coming over for
2012.
For 2012, and weren't they? Didn't they have the camp in Birmingham?
Yeah,
was it the
so
Jamaican team
the
was staying?
American and the Jamaican
that stayed in Birmingham.
Both had camps in Birmingham. So yeah, we worked on that.
Some years ago, I think I was about. I might have been about 9. I was going to Bourneville Junior School, and I don't know if you remember this. You remember the baton? Yeah. The purple baton, and it was running through. That was for the Commonwealth as well, wasn't it? That was for the Commonwealth Games, yeah. I think that was the Olympic. Was that the Olympic?
Torch, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the Olympic torch. That was when was it
Denise Lewis?
It would have been. She did something, didn't she?
She carried it through. Yeah, I was there that day.
But did that inspire you?
At Bourneville.
What did that make you feel like when you seen it?
As a child, like, amazing. Yeah, I was gassed when I seen it. I was like.
But it's created a memory as well. So, considering that you said you're not interested in sports to that extent, if there's something that can actually stick in, and that's what I'm saying when it comes to the next generation coming through, to have that kind of an impact. Now, you'll have some that might not want to get involved in sports, but you'll have others that might sit there and be inspired and watch the games with their parents or whoever it might be on the TV and think, I want to do that. Yeah, I remember that. Do you know, that's a memory from my childhood that you've just brought back to me. Just even speaking what you were saying about, you know, young people being inspired, then you've brought that memory for me as a young person. Yeah. I was inspired in that moment, And I think as well, there's a load of parks. Haven't they got all these different training facilities? They're trying to make things more accessible
and
now.
It's interesting that you say that you were inspired, but it's about homing in on that for a child and giving them an offer that longs out that inspiration. So there's a legacy to that inspiration. Yeah. So whose responsibility is that though then? Is that just purely down to the parents to tap into that inspiration, or is it down to us as Birmingham as a city? I think it's down to everyone. It's down to Birmingham as a whole.